All right. Hi. Good morning, Walter.
Good morning, Spring. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. And thank you for joining me today. Thank you for taking the time to join me. And I would just like to introduce you first to our audience. So, guys, this is Walter Delbaere. Did I pronounce your name
Not bad. Good
correctly?
attempt. Delbaere. Not bad. Yeah.
That was correct.
Well
Okay.
done.
And of course, Walter is the CEO of Mantas. And you are also the founder of Mantas as well,
Co-founder. Yeah. There are five
co-founder.
of us. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And so I believe Water is passionate about innovation and, of course, simplifying the complex things in life. And right, and you have also you're an IT graduate, so you've been doing various IT related work since I guess since forever, or as far as I can remember. And
Correct. Correct. I guess I did a Bachelor of Business Computer Applications
mhm,
in Silliman, not so
yeah,
far from where your office is in the Philippines. And then I did a master's in IT in Belgium.
awesome. So can you tell us more about your company, more about Mangtas and the industry? What is it about? Because it's a very unusual name. I believe not a lot of people know or understand what this name stands for. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, sure, sure. Happy to. So Mantas is about 8 years old. However, what we're doing right now is probably about 5 months old. So we pivoted in a completely new direction, but we actually exist already for quite some time. Now, there's a little bit of a history to it. As you said, Mantas is quite a unique name.
Yes.
And we love the name. So how it all started was about 8 years ago. Me, Osmond Amoroso, and Antonio Emperado. These are two guys that I know very well since my childhood that I played football with
Hmm.
at Silliman at Dumaguete in the Philippines, and people that I also spend a lot of time with, let's say after football and after school. And I always wanted to do something with them because they were not only very smart educationally, academically, but also very street smart. And
Hmm.
I felt they're the perfect set of people to do something with later in life, especially when opportunities come our way from a business perspective. So we set up a company called Mantas. Uh, Now, Mantas, we love the name because it's simple, it's international. And there are very few places, even in the Philippines, that will actually understand what that means. In
Yeah.
certain islands, that will mean different things. In certain islands, that will mean absolutely nothing. For us, it means somebody that's not just book smart, but also street smart.
Hmm.
And it really represents the company's identity, but also us. It gives us that nice little backstory and a little bit of a history about who we are. So we like to say exceptionally talented and skilled people
Hmm.
belong to the set of Mantas. So
Yeah.
that's the
That's how
name.
you pronounce
And
it, right? With that
Mantas. Yeah,
with
yeah,
that
yeah. So if you
energy.
say this
Yeah.
in Dumaguete, people usually have a little smile because it's not just street smart, but it's not just smart, also street smart. It's quite a deep meaning. We love it. But to complete the story, so we all had our day jobs, and we did this pretty much as a side hustle, as we
Hmm.
say. And opportunities came our way, and we started outsourcing out of the Philippines, right? So we hired people in the Philippines and deployed them all over Asia Pacific, and was very good for us. Nice little side hustle that was going really well. And then the pandemic hit, and this whole concept of sending people abroad disappeared overnight, and we had to reinvent ourselves. And honestly, we were not doing it full time anyway, so we were very opportunistic. And back in end of Jan, if I'm not mistaken, me and Osman, we both live in Singapore, by the way. We were having a drink here. And I guess I don't know, after drink number three, we got a little bit more creative. We started talking about some of the personal pain points I had in the field of outsourcing and why it is so
Mhm.
difficult and unstructured. We also talked about how the freelancer platforms completely went ballistic during the pandemic, in the sense that they did really well, like ×7 in share price, ×5 in share price, depending on who you look at. So it's a very topical area, and we felt that could be done much better from an outsourcing perspective. So we then decided, hey, why don't we start focusing on outsourcing to teams, copy and adopt what we can learn from the freelancer platform, but really apply it to team outsourcing, and really a trillion-dollar industry, multi-trillion-dollar industry. That is still very, very much unstructured, the same way the freelancers were, I don't know, 5 years ago. And so we feel we are in a very good position to address that market, not only because we have strong roots in the Philippines, but also we have global access. Our co-founders are based all over the world. So we started this, I would say, in February, right? We just kicked it off. We said, hey, that's a good idea. The next day, luckily no hangover, we just started prototyping away. And within 10 days, we had 5 teams signed up that loved the concept. And within another 2 weeks, we had our first project. And things started rolling from there. And the traction was just undeniable. We are now, we're now a proper platform. And it's growing exponentially. So very exciting times. So that's a little bit of a history. I don't know.
A little bit of a history, and there's always something like those kinds of stories when you're saying like, okay, we had a drink and then the rest was history. That kind of story. So it's a very interesting history. But I also have a question though, because
Sure.
in the European or like English speaking countries, NG is quite difficult to pronounce, right? So not a lot of people can easily pronounce Mantas. Maybe some would be pronouncing it Mantas, or which is also fine because it sounds like man and task doing task.
And I guess spelling maybe the main, because obviously when we say mantas.com, we want them to go to the right address. I gotta be honest, we haven't really struggled that much. Maybe once there was somebody that said, what, money tas? No, think mango and then tas, right? Mantas, okay. So I guess, the beauty about this thing is, and one of the reasons why I'm so excited about the whole name, is it's not taken by anyone. We can do it. It's a space that we can completely claim as ours, right? Mantas is a concept and a term that exists for us in culture. But online, digitally, Mantas, nobody claimed it. So we can own that space completely.
And it's a conversation. It's a topic for conversation with clients. Sure.
It's not literal, right? There's another provider out there called TopTal, right? Okay, top talent, we get it. Right? I love the company, by the way, but it's just not what we like. We like to put a little bit more character behind it. So go ahead, you first.
I was just wanted to say, what does your company, what does Mantas offer? So we want to know what exactly, because I think it's a new kind of business model. So can you help us and the audience understand what is Mantas' business model? What can it offer to the community and its clients? Because I think it's like you have for the clients and for the community. You have services for both.
Correct. And maybe let me start with a little bit of a history of what the frustration was and what the pain point was, what we're really solving, right? What's the real problem we're addressing? And it all started, I was originally working on another startup, which was a sports tech thing, because I'm quite into sports. And that was going well, and some excitement behind it as well. And one thing was, I really wanted to build a team of people for the future, right? I would really invest in talent and make sure that I train up the right people and have that foundation to then scale on. Now, it was really difficult, right? So one is, you basically have 3 options. One is you hire, which is risky and very expensive, because you basically need to have somebody full-time. You're now exposed to labor laws. But also, if things don't go well, you are there with that person, right? And sometimes you don't need somebody full-time, but you need a very specific skill. right? So that was difficult, and there were some challenges there. The second option you have is freelancers, which is basically, this is fantastic. I love the freelancer platforms, but this is very much individuals, right? And they're there to provide services that are typically delivered by individuals and done in that manner, or designed that manner. And then you can go to traditional outsourcing, something which I've done for like a couple of decades now, which is basically you engage a team of people, typically from another country somewhere, very cost effective, very specialized. And that was also a problem because from what I've seen in the market, this is all hit and miss. You have to be really lucky that you find the right team with the right chemistry with you, which also is going to take care of you and not just, make sure that they deliver accordingly, make sure that you have options to compare apples to apples. All of that just did not exist. So I talked to a couple of agencies, didn't really like on it then. My only alternative was Googling or social media. Wasn't really convincing for me. So that's the starting point, right? I'm really frustrated because I didn't like working with individual. I like freelancers in general, but I didn't enjoy the experience of building a team on freelancers. Because you had to then negotiate deals with all of them. Most of them have several clients anyway, so there isn't that same level of team spirit. And there wasn't that single point of contact. There wasn't that quality control that would happen. There wasn't that organizational backing and commitment that ensured that they would be there for the long run, right? And that's what I was looking for. So yeah, long story short, that's the problem in a nutshell. And what we are doing is essentially think about these freelancer platforms, but fully focused on teams. So when I say freelancer platforms, think TopTal, Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer.com. There are many out there and they're great.
Yes, there are.
About them, but very much from a team's perspective and teams only, right? It's a very different demographic, very different clientele, a very different type of service providers. And also the type of services that you will avail of will be different and traditionally much more long-term and higher value. So it's really, I'd like to think that Mantas is like your outsourcing partner, and very much trusted. We connect clients to providers all over the world, and we're focusing initially very much on the Philippines because that's our roots, right? And we're also partnering with agencies in the Philippines, and Dumaguete especially, like yourself, because we really want to support that thriving community, right? So that's really the bottom line. So essentially, we are not just matchmakers, right? We're also a platform where you manage your outsourcing. Where you have control it, you structure it, your projects, your payments, your non-disclosure agreements, right? Your service level agreements. But we also like to think of ourselves as an advisor. People can come to us. We are very experienced in the outsourcing space. Across different domains, like be it IT, technology, software development, be it marketing, be it sales, be it digital and arts. We know how to outsource, right? And there are a lot of people that want to do stuff that may not be the biggest experts at it. They can come to us and say, here are my objectives, help us. And then we come up with a proposal. So we want to be synonymous with outsourcing.
I see. Well, thank you for that, Walter. Before I continue with some of my other questions, there's someone here on Instagram asking if we can move a little bit to the left because somehow with Instagram, the video is to be vertical. Yep. And so they want to see you, they hear you, but they can't see you. So,
oh, wow. Okay. Is this better?
Yeah, I think that's better. Thank you so much for indulging. So,
I can move more if you want. No problem at all. Hey, sorry, just before, I see that Faye also messaged. Hello, Faye. Faye is one of the people that we deal with. Nice to see all these messages pop up. So she's our single point of contact from your agency, obviously, right? But can I ask you a question? So you are also a startup, right? And how long are you now? So you are now celebrating your anniversary. Is that
exactly.
That's what this is all about, right?
Yes, almost
Congratulations.
a year.
Oh, well
Thank you.
done. You guys are fantastic. I'm really, really impressed with how you started from nothing and see how big you are now, right? So, and you really built something from nothing. So we love partnering with agencies like this. So
Thank you.
congratulations, and everyone
So
that's listening from your team. Well done.
they are excited. They are listening and watching us right now, and they do have some questions for us. I
Please,
think
please, please.
Cindy said, how would Mangta start a project that requires you to use new technology? Okay, so just
Very good. Very
technology
good
in
question.
general. Hmm.
But can I? There are a couple of ways to interpret that question. So
Yeah.
let's say let's take the first stab at it, which is, let's say a client comes to us and says, I have this idea and it has to be on blockchain
Hmm.
because that's what I want. That's what I want. We'll listen to them and we'll provide advice and say, is blockchain really the way to go? If you really want to, fantastic, right?
Hmm.
Here are blockchain experts that are specialized at this, and have a conversation with them, and we take it from there, right? The good thing about this is you don't have to be an expert at it. If anything, you
Yeah.
should be an expert at it. Our philosophy is always do what you do best and focus on that. And anything else, which is outside your day-to-day and outside your expertise and your core business, outsource that, right? Go bring that to dedicated agencies, specialized agencies that are very good at this, very cost effective, and more importantly, that have economies of scale, right?
Mm.
Because an agency will have a whole spread of skill sets, and they will
Yes,
spread that across clients. You cannot achieve that if you hire and do things yourself, and they'll do it better. They'll have years of expertise.
for sure. For sure. That's there.
So to go back to your question, yeah, great. Come if it's a new technology, you should definitely outsource it rather than to try learning it yourself.
All right. Well, thank you for that answer. So I guess that's close to the next question that we have here as to how do you keep your technology skills up to date. You don't specialize in everything, but you do keep yourself up to date in your line of expertise. I
Are you
believe.
talking about me personally?
You personally or the
Ah,
team?
yes, yes, yes. I'm a bit of a geek. So I have I'm very confusing.
Okay.
It depends a little bit at which moment you catch me. Sometimes I'm a bit of a hippie. Sometimes I'm a little bit of a beach boy.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I'm this hardcore business guy, and
Mhm.
sometimes I'm a geek. So that's a little bit. And I'm very much a father as well, and
Yes.
a
Happy Father's Day, belated.
husband. No, to answer your question, it's important, right? Look, it's you have to continue learning
Mm.
till the day
Yeah.
you die, right? And I find this is such a critical skill set. So I'm so anti expertise,
Mm-hmm.
and much more about knowing how to help yourself. That's one of the skills. That's what I really focused on when I
Mm-hmm.
was learning as well. Like, I don't want to be an expert at some specific technology. That will come and go. I want to know how to get the bigger picture and teach things and to myself or learn things quickly. So I think it's very, very important to keep up to date because I'm sorry, the world is not going to stop for you, right? That's the reality. And if you're going to just relax and think that what you learned yesterday is going to be good enough for your future, I'm sorry, think again. Unless you take some really, really old technology that nobody wants to do anymore, and then you always have clients on that don't want to migrate yet. But I guess bottom line is, I make sure to personally upskill myself constantly, make sure I
Mm-hmm.
understand what's out there, and
Yeah.
because that's also important not for our business, right?
Yes.
We want to make sure
Absolutely.
that we advise our clients the right way and match them to the right teams.
Exactly. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Good
And
question. Who was that?
that was Sebastian. And we have
Sebastian. Nice question, Sebastian.
one more from Shireen. So she said, "Hi Walter, thank you for flexing Filipino talents. Yeah, and just want to ask, what kind of talents or skills are you looking for now in a team? So I guess like what kind of teams you're looking for these days to be a part of Mantas."
Sure. Can I ask a question first? This is from Shireen, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Shireen. Good question. Are most people on this podcast listening Bisaya, or is this just a spread?
Yeah, they can understand Bisaya. Of course, we are also live on YouTube, which we
Okay,
have
okay.
foreign.
So I'll skip that. Okay. Sige, salamat kayo sa comment. So basically, yes, I agree. So to begin with, I feel the Philippines is the outsourcing mecca. That's why I feel we are in a very good position to execute on this business model. We also have our roots here. And actually, especially our island, our little island, Negros, Oriental, Dumaguete, great university, great English, low cost of living compared to even other islands in the Philippines, right? There's a reason why Dumaguete is also the retirement capital of Asia, right? Because it has all these elements, which also apply to outsourcing. But your question was a little bit different. So skill sets, I'm going to be honest. We look at a typical client has a journey with us, right? So a journey meaning, look, if I'm a startup, right, and I want to solve one big problem and I have a limited budget, how do I spend that budget? What are the different fundamental things I need? Typically, you'll need to build a website, you need a logo, you need some design, you need some arts. You maybe want to create an app if it's a tech platform. Then you need to start thinking about your marketing, which is absolutely fundamental, your social media, your ads, everything around that. Then you need to think about your lead generation. And then, I mean, the list goes on. How about your accounting? How about your legal? All of these things, right? You can either hire it or you can outsource it to very specialized agencies. And if you can have that one platform that gives you that one single management framework plus advisory around it, that's what we look for, right? So in terms of skill sets and talents, what we see are most popular on the platform. I would say technology. So the ability to build stuff and having something very, because a lot of people know how to build stuff, but you need to be edgy. You need to separate yourself, right? Because ultimately, thousands and thousands of options for clients means that you need to stand out. So you need to provide something different, right? Not just build stuff. So how do you build? What is it about your build? What's the process you follow? Like for instance, we have a couple of agencies on the platform that they focus on rapid prototyping, which is a concept which startups love, right? Which is very different from, for instance, back-end development or front-end development or software architecture. It's fundamentally a different approach, and you can then separate yourself and really focus on what you're really good at. But obviously, social media is a hot topic that we see come up a lot. Lead generation is something that comes up a lot. And then obviously the more artsy stuff like animation, design, also like graphic design and all that. So those are typical skill sets that people look for.
Okay.
To answer the question.
Yeah, that definitely answers that question. And we have one last question. I think we have time for this one last question from Selena. Okay, and there's another question in there.
Keep it coming. I'm in no
Okay.
rush.
So, how do you manage your teams and how do you keep them motivated?
Oh,
Yes, we're talking about
wow.
teams.
Very,
Okay.
very good question. This is from Placido?
Selena.
No, no.
This is from Selena.
Also Selena. Selena. Hey, Selena, how are you? I see your name a lot. Good. I think, and this touches upon a very, very important topic, which is people. And to be honest, like we're all about teams, and I can do the whole spiel about the marketing teams. But to me personally, it's always about people, and that's the most important part. Is the part that will get you the furthest. It's your differentiator, but it's also the hardest and the most frustrating part because it's so hard to get that right. Yeah, it's not just how do I hire someone and motivate them and get the most out of that person. That's not how I approach things at all. It's about first and foremost, is that person right for us to begin with, right? Both ways. Are we right for them and vice versa? So yeah, keeping them motivated, keeping people motivated in general, you just have to be very much aligned to begin with, right? Like I know, and one of the parts that I'm most proud about in Mantas is the people,
Yes.
and fundamentally, we not only skill set wise, right, but just attitude wise, chemistry wise, and just team spirit that's just naturally there. It's the part that I'm probably most proud about right now for us specifically. And to me, that's very, very important. Like I want people. So I've always been part of sports teams. So I played
Yes.
for Silliman's football. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. I
That's
was
how I
part of
know.
the women's football as well.
Oh, there you go. And
Yes.
that's how I know Lee as well, right? He's part of basketball team, and we did tournaments together with different teams, obviously. So it's, as an individual talent, you can get something done and you're important. But if you're not a team player, I'd rather not have you.
Yeah.
Right? And in a team, it's all about how do you gel as a team and how to get things done as part of the greater good of the team. So long story short, to me, it's extremely important that the fundamentals are aligned to begin with: attitude, personality, and then obviously also vision, direction. People don't leave a company because they are not paid enough. People leave because they don't like the management and the direction and the problem that they solve, right? So if people are just passionate about what we are achieving and they want to be part of that journey, people are motivated to begin with. And I think that's critical, right? You can't try to force people that are skilled and then, convince them to join you on your journey and they're half-hearted. I'd rather not have them on board, right?
True.
So it starts with that. And then, of course, you need to take care of each other, right? I mean, I think it's important. People are people. It's not, people are not robots. You got to make sure that you look after the people and be there as a person as much as somebody that's a supervisor, right? So I think that all of these things help. Obviously, there's the career path, right? If I always look for people that take initiative.
Yeah.
I really love these kind of people that have this drive and just to get things done.
Totally agree. Yeah.
And then you need to allow them to take that initiative and allow them to fail, right? And encourage them. Like take it, if it doesn't work, try hard and those are, if you find this type of people, that would work well with me. That's more my style. So obviously everyone has a different style.
Oh, and I believe that it works for a lot of different companies as well, because the fundamentals of having a team and different individuals coming in, but then the core is that they do want to be part of the team. They are a team player, and
I don't believe in micromanagement, right? I
Yeah.
honestly don't. The moment I have to spend any second on micromanaging, that's a minute I'll never see back in my life. And that also means that person requires it, and there's no real long-term thing with us, right? I always feel like you drive it forward, and that gives you much more accountability and ownership of what you do, and that also helps with
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. And we do have a few. There's a comment here of a head with a football, and
Sure, go
from
ahead.
no, there's a comment with just that emoji there. Another question from
So what's
Plastic.
the emoji? Sorry, I didn't see that. Oh, there. Oh, I see.
And we do have several questions, but we'll keep it at this questions because, of course, we are already into our 30 minutes. So, Placido, I'm interested in how you collaborate multiple teams into a project and even multiple members into a single task if needed. Yeah, I think this is an interesting question.
So the question is, how do you look?
Collaborate multiple teams. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is very, very good, and it's complex, right? There's
Yes.
no right or wrong answer here, and it's almost like a roll up of how do you make individuals work as a team?
Yeah.
How do you now take two teams and make them work as a bigger team? And
Yeah.
that's very, very, very complex. And look, there are probably books on this. Like I was part of an organization before in an old life where we were a later stage startup that got acquired, And we were merged with a team, and it just was a disaster, right? We were just culturally not aligned. We hated each other, or not, maybe hate is a strong word, but we were originally competitors, etc., etc. So I think you have to be sure that you're connecting the right teams to begin with, right? They need to have the right kind of culture, way of working, but also they need to be solving complementary problems so that you can then naturally make them work together. Because if they start overlapping too much, people sometimes get territorial. So I think step one is really take a step back. Why am I even doing these teams? Why these two specifically? And then it's like any other team, right? Then you say, okay, I got now 2 teams. Now I take this concept away of 2 teams. Now you're 1 team, and I'm going to treat you as one. And you basically make sure that everybody behaves as a 1 team member, right? That's going to be, I think it's really more about attitude than anything else.
I see.
I hope that helped. Hey, I'm loving this. I was not expecting. I was like thinking this was these are all topics that didn't really come our way. I love it.
Okay, awesome. So that means we have room for one more question, and I think this is something that you'd like to explain more. Because KP is asking, hey Walter, quick question. How do you differentiate Mantas from other outsourcing companies that are in the same market as yours? Or are there even other companies that are in the same market?
So there's good news and there's bad news. So the bad news is we're definitely not alone. But I think that's actually really good news.
Yeah, competition
because that just shows that there's things happening. And the very, 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 very good news is the people that do it are either really small still, are in a completely separate geographical location and or space in general, or really focused on something else. So yeah, that's really promising. So we and also the other thing. Sorry, I lost my thread. The other thing is they're very small. So
that's a
there are companies out there that also do this. Like for instance, I'm not going to name them now, but they have this. They are freelancer platforms and have this kind of agency add-on, and I don't feel they do it well, right? Okay. And I think what people need to understand, like what we do, has this very specific space. A freelancer is very different from an outsourcing team, and if you focus on freelancers and you then also want to do teams, sure, you can do that, but those are 2 very separate things. It's not something you can easily leverage, right? Yes, you can form teams out of freelancers, don't get me wrong, that we do that as well. But ultimately, it's a multi-trillion-dollar business today already, done by existing teams. And for them, that's a very, very specific space. Now, there are very few agencies or platforms that focus on it the same way as we do. So it's really up for grabs, to be honest. So we have a couple of things going for us. One, we have a very strong fundamental network in the Philippines, plus foothold in Singapore, Belgium, and more countries. So we can make that connection. We're also very experienced in the outsourcing space. We can also copy very quickly from what the freelancer did and apply it to us, right? I mean, we're not stupid, right? We're not going to reinvent any wheels here.
Exactly.
That's smart business, right? And then it's about execution, right? I think our differentiator is also not only our ability to execute on this because we understand this, and we're all in, and we have the funding and all of that, but also we can build a team in the Philippines, out of the Philippines, and these are very, as everybody knows, perfect English, very good skill sets, and very cost effective. So I think we're in a good position to conquer this.
Awesome. And with that, having that kind of skill set here in the Philippines, or that kind of individuals here in the Philippines, especially here in Dumaguete. I believe one of your teammates there is from OceanClick, and so far, how has she been doing so far? She's here.
Oh, we love her. I know she's here. I've seen her commenting. No, we treat her as a team member of Mantas, right? To me, partnerships
Mm.
are never about short-term gains. To me, that's irrelevant. A quick buck here or loss there. It doesn't. It's all about long-term relationships. And we treat that person called Faye as a team member of ours. But obviously much more, right? We work with OceanClick. I mean, honestly, we can always hire people, right?
Yes.
It's not about that. We are partnering with an organization, right? And you are in the same boat as us. You're a startup, and together we're much stronger than doing things separate. And whatever gains we get now are going to be irrelevant compared to where we can be together, right? That's how I always look at partnerships.
Yeah,
All the
absolutely.
short-term stuff, that's all fluff. That's just long short-term targets. It's all about long-term. Where do we get, and how do we help each other out,
Absolutely.
and how can we be mutually beneficial, right?
And
So what we love about, she's been great. She's helping us with our social media management, something I know absolutely nothing about. Luckily, I got Jackie, who's fantastic, and she's running marketing, and I'm learning a lot from Jackie as well as Faye, right? But this is where this is the point I'm coming to. If you are a specialized agency with a whole set of people doing this, there's something called cross-pollination that happens.
true.
Where people in other teams develop, or you as an organization develop best practices that we will not come up with ourselves unless we get very mature, right? You become mature in that. You also come up with ideas for specific problems in other teams that you can leverage across the other teams. So the one thing I love about OceanClick and this partnership is yes, of course, the talent itself and all that. We love Faye, don't get me wrong, but it's more importantly about the organization that backs it and the long-term commitment behind it, and what that extra is, right?
Yeah.
Is that what do you bring on top of raw talent, which is really the team behind it. And that to me is key, right? And for everyone listening from OceanClick, always my advice would be always remember that, right? That's in my opinion, at least for companies like me, that's your edge, right? That's your differentiator. That's what will make you irreplaceable. Because we could go to market today and hire someone, but I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to have that. I want to have that. Trust. I want to believe. I want to rest assured that there's a whole organization backing it, and I know that at some point, and even now we're benefiting from other teams contributing to what we are trying to achieve, even though they may not be directly interacting with us. So make sure to leverage that, I would say, and capitalize on that.
Well, thank you, and that's why we're in Mantas as well. Like I think we have our teams. We signed up in Mantas, and I believe that they can also find OceanClick there in Mantas, because that's actually why we really wanted to partner with Mantas as well, because we are also teams. We don't work as freelancers or as individuals, but we have teams because our teams have different skill sets, and together as a team we're able to give a better service to our clients compared to just one person doing that kind of service. Because
And coincidentally, we have somebody reached out to us yesterday, and it's a social media expert, and I'm sure you have been contacted already. You're going to be added to the short list of proposals that we sent.
awesome.
So okay, but that's a little side comment, I guess. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, and so just one last thing, Walter. As you've mentioned, we are about to celebrate our first year anniversary here in OceanClick. So, do you have any last message or like an anniversary message for the people of OceanClick?
Oh, wow. Oh, I wish I prepared something for this now. Look, it's very unfortunate, because if this pandemic wasn't happening, right, I would 100% be there with you guys. And I'm sure we would be having a drink somewhere, right? It's literally, our house is in Cebuano So it will take me about 25 minutes to ride, maybe a bit longer, 30 maybe.
We would have loved to invite you.
And so my departing message, my last message to you guys would be, sige, pag umana ni tanan, bisita ko ninyo, then ako bahala sa indoors.
Yay! That's
Kung
good.
tanduay po, kung ganahan ka.
Thank
That's
you.
all. I don't know. And of course, look, joking aside, I would say keep up the good job. Always it's about the team, right? There needs to be a team spirit. Don't forget to have fun, balance your life, but work hard, obviously. Remember what your differentiator is, right? It's beyond cost-effective solutions. It's also what you provide as an organization, as a team. Remember to always leverage that for your clients, and you will surely make it very far.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Walter, for spending time with us here, for accepting our invitation to join us in OceanClick Live. And of course, to everyone who wants to follow Mantas, you can find them on FB, IG, Twitter, LinkedIn. Just search Mantas and you can read all about them. Of course, you can also go to their website, which is, of course, mantas.com. And of course, I also want to invite everyone to follow OceanClick as well. And it's OceanClick Via. So just look for us in, again, IG, FB, Twitter, and TikTok. We actually have a TikTok
Oh,
account.
wow. We should look at it. Maybe one last thing, if I
Yeah,
may.
go ahead.
So about Mantas, right? So my turn
Mhm.
to say an advertisement. If you are a team, right, that knows how to deliver services, especially with a proven track record, you should be on our platform because it's free. You are exposed to our international client base just by signing up, creating a profile. Make sure your team profile stands out, and you can come on board and basically start delivering services on the platform. Now, if you are interested in forming a team, you're also welcome. You can create your team with people that you know very well and start delivering services as well. If you are somebody that requires outsourcing services, come to us. Even if you don't know exactly what you want yet, we have a feature that we just rolled out, which is come to us, tell us your objectives. Within 24 hours, you'll get a concrete proposal from us, from different teams. And we'll make sure to make that outsourcing a success for you. So every out of the 30 plus projects that have been run on Mantas, all of them have been a success, 5-star, right? So we want to continue to do that forever.
Yeah.
Good. That's
Absolutely. So everyone who needs a team, go to Mantas. Everyone who has a team and can provide this kind of different services, again, go to Mantas. Sign up is for free. Okay. And I'm also inviting everyone to follow us on LinkedIn. It's also in Mantas. Mantas has a LinkedIn page as well as OceanClick Virtual Solutions. And OceanClick also has a YouTube channel, so you can go watch this live again in YouTube. It's OceanClick TV.
Oops. This is okay. I'm not gonna do that. That's for sure. I hate this.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Walt,
cool.
for
Take
your
care.
time, and I'll see you again sometime. Have a
Bye.
great day,
This was
everyone.
fun. Let's do this again.
Yeah, let's
Enjoy
do.
this.
Maybe you can invite us in Mantas and we'll have a different kind of interview. Thank you so much. All right, guys.